So it's time for another update. I know a lot of questions have come through on the my thread on Forex Factory, and thanks again for more advice and also just some conversation regarding risk and things like that. And it's been helpful to hear the community's thoughts on this, and also a little bit scary as well. I mean, a lot of these things I already knew. I mean, come on, I know I made mistakes. I know that what risk I should be taking on my trades. I know what's possible, what I should be doing, what I shouldn't be doing. I'm still working on trying to organize all my thoughts of the day that everything went, to shambles, and it will take me some time to really think about all the elements that were involved in me taking those awful trades. So I want to talk about a couple things today. I want to talk about my trades that I've closed out in profit. I don't have anything open right now. I want to talk a little bit about my EA, what the future entails for that, and I also wanted to talk about cryptocurrency and the current state of that, because I've had some questions that have come in saying that cryptocurrency is a bubble and it's too risky to get involved in. And I'm going to talk about why I disagree with that, and a little bit more of why I think cryptocurrency is going to be the new way to the financial markets. Okay, so let's start off with the trades that I've taken. All right, so the trades that I've taken so far since I started this account, which was on the 5th of this week, I've had quite a few trades on many of my pairs, going back all the way to the 4th on the Aussie CAD, and the 4th on the Kiwi CAD, and then on the 5th I had some pound CAD trades. So you can see the inside candle set up here, which was great because it was at a round or a half number, 1.695, and you can see that was a nice place for an entry. An inside candle after a big push down did pop up, but it wasn't enough, and second entry went in, and right at the bottom where it retested the low and then shot up, and then I was able to close out in profit. The next one, also a very good entry, right at the peak, inside candle, again after another a pullback on the upside, entry, push down, not much drawdown, and not even in a second trade on that one. And another inside candle set up right, again, same support level here. And this one almost had no drawdown and shot up. Now the Canadian interest rate stayed the same, and our cash rate, and it went in my favor. Now sometimes this happens, as I've mentioned to you guys before, where I'll have news will either go against me or in my favor, and I've had it do both things. So but the nice thing is that I only have one entry. One entry per candle is only possible with my strategy. That's the filter that I have. Sorry, that's the air unit going on in my room. I'm in a hotel room, if you haven't noticed. Currently playing a concert tonight. So sorry for the noise. So I do only have one entry per candle, so that helps when there is a big push happening, especially if it's against me, and it helps negate the risk of the potential risk of huge news moves, unless they're in my favor. And so in this case, if they're in my favor, that means I typically will get a really good positive slippage with the combination of the broker and the expert advisor closing out my trades late, because most expert advisors, especially on a VPS, will not be able to close out trades exactly on time, especially if the price is moving 100 pips in a matter of seconds. So I was able to take double my profit, my standard profit, from this trade in combination with the odd CAD and the NZD CAD. I had some trades in on the Aussie CAD at the same time when the news happened, and that popped up as well, giving me double profit, so 100% more profit than I typically do, which is really sad because my typical profit is only $10 per basket, and I was able to come out with $20 on this basket. So it was a total of 3 trades on the Aussie CAD, and then a 1 trade on the pound. And both of them closed out, obviously at the same time because of my close EA function that I have right here. So I have a close EA that's closing all my trades in a specific amount of profit. Alright, so today there hasn't been any inside candles in this whole area, which is good because it kind of kept just creeping up on the pound CAD ever since the news came out with the cash rate on the Canadian dollar. And so I was expecting a pullback after such a huge move, and no inside candles until this point here. So right at the round number at 171.72, inside candle, shot down, hit the 171 whole round number, and then pushed right back up after that. So no inside candles since then, but it was a very clean trade. I've had some really clean trades since I started this small account of a measly $1,000. As you guys know, I lost a lot of money, and I'm gradually building it back up with my expert advisor. And I have had basically no drawdown, or very little drawdown since this account was started. And I'm still having trouble getting it to update every 5 minutes. But you can see that I've had 7.53%, and my drawdown has been 0.65%. So really clean trades this week. Now my profit is maybe a little high, as at 7.53% for a week of trading. I have since changed the risk on the pound Canadian dollar trades. I'm pushing my expert advisors to the limits on such a small account. And I say pushing it to the limits, it doesn't mean that I am taking excessive risk to cause losses. I'm just pushing it to the edge of where I think the safety is, the safety net of my expert advisor. And I think I was pushing the pound Canadian dollar slightly too hard, and I have since pulled back the risk by 50%. And you can see the results of that here. Now again, a control points test, the risk is, or the drawdown is really similar. I'm still going to have a potential, I mean this is over 8 years, of about 50% drawdown, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with 50% drawdown on this account at this moment. But the settings that I was using before, it was getting about 90% drawdown, which I'm not too comfortable with. And so 50% at the moment is where I want to stand. Now, as I gradually increase the account size of this $1,000 account, and I add more money to it, I will probably cut down the risk a little bit each time I add some money to make sure that as my account gets larger, the risk gets smaller. Okay, so this is what we're looking at, $1,000 with a couple of losing areas that happened. That's because I have a 500 pip stop loss on each trade that's made in the basket. And so that's why there were 2 losses in the last 8 years, but they weren't so bad. They weren't too bad. Okay, so back to I'm also trading Robert's account, and he's had some trades too. He hasn't had as many as I've had, but they still have been profitable, and he is up to about 0.5% for the week so far. Okay, so that's pretty much my trades so far for this week. And let me just show you the inside candle setup here on the pound, on the Aussie CAD. You can see where the first entry was. And it was a good trade, and the news definitely did help that trade out. And the NZD CAD, just 1 trade I think is what I've had on that pair this week. Yep. And that was on an inside candle setup too, right near the bottom, and then that one popped up and closed in profit right away. So guys, you can see that there is an edge here. There's an edge here, and I think that it really does show in this week of trading where I've had very clean basket trades, and that a lot of times will happen. But it does show you that there are specific areas in the market that show more possibilities of reversals or pullbacks, and that my inside candle is a pretty powerful thing if used in the right way. Unfortunately, my manual trading killed my account, and I know I'm going to be bashing myself, and you guys will probably be doing the same, bashing me as well over time about it. But I'm going to try to put it past me. It's going to take me a while to really move beyond that, and I will continue to add to this small account that you see here. All right, so moving on, since I have to go here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to talk real briefly about the Expert Advisor and the settings. Now, still trading on the 3 pairs, so Aussie CAD, NZD CAD, or Kiwi CAD, and the Pound CAD. And I have specific settings for those that I'm not quite going to mention yet, because the strategy as a whole is still the same, where I'm showing you where the entries were, how the entries were taken, inside candle using the RMI, and it's up to you to mess with the settings of the RMI to see which ones work best for the pairs that I'm using. I like to give most of the information away, and I have in my previous videos, of what I'm actually using on my strategy. But I also want you guys to do some searching yourself to see what options work the best, what works with your trading, what works with the markets. So I'm not spoon feeding you. There's got to be some kind of exploration so you can better understand what you're working with. Okay, so everything is turning out very well with the Expert Advisor, and I think it's going to be better. I've improved it even more than I did than I ever have. I think it's in the best shape that it's ever been in. So I'm very excited about the future results. Okay, so let's talk real fast about cryptocurrency. Now, JP Morgan is now getting into Bitcoin futures trading. And if you guys know, JP Morgan has been saying for so many years that they think that Bitcoin is a bubble, it's going to fail, and so many big companies have been saying this, and huge investors like Warren Buffett. But you know what? And that's now changing. But it's going to be a slow process, because people are going to continue to say it's a bubble, until it's just not anymore, and they miss the boat. And that's kind of what's already happened. People thinking that it was a bubble back a year ago, and then they missed out on 1,000% gains. Because if you look at where Bitcoin was a year ago, it was at $750, and now it's at 16,000 was the last quoted price, I believe. 16,000. I think it hit 16,500. And see right now, this GDAX is quoting it at 16,820. That's a 70% increase on Bitcoin in the last week. You think that's a bubble? I don't know. I mean, I don't think it is, because look at it from. I feel like this is a pretty good analogy. Look at it from what Napster was. If you guys remember what Napster was, I mean, maybe you saw the Facebook movie. Napster was the first place that introduced sharing of music for free, right? Digitally, and people thought that was a huge joke, and it was it was a scam, and there was no way that it was going to survive. And look at what's happened to the music industry. It changed the music industry completely over the course of about 10 years. Now we have Spotify and Amazon Music and Pandora, all these places that have free music that you can just download now. And Napster was the first one to introduce that, and people just ranted on that technology and how it wasn't going to survive. And look at what happened. It adapted, and it changed the music industry for good. And it went through growing pains, because I'm in the music industry myself. And in 2009 and 2010 was the big time for that push where the music industry was changing. Less people were buying less CDs. They were downloading more things online. They were using things like Spotify. Artists were getting upset because they weren't getting as much pay from CDs, and that's still the case. Artists don't make as much money from CDs anymore because of places like Spotify. And so the money really is made from the concerts. And that's really changed over the years, and that is how Bitcoin is going to approach the market. And that's what it's been doing over the last 10 years or 8 years. And it's slowly adapting and changing how we look at money. And now huge companies like JP Morgan are finally jumping on board and biting their tongues, saying that we're finally accepting that Bitcoin is real, that it's not a bubble anymore, and that it's going to be here for the long term. I mean, look at this. This is $421 billion invested in cryptocurrencies currently. $421 billion. And a good portion of that is actually just in Bitcoin. 271 million is just in Bitcoin itself, so it's taking up most of the market cap. And just in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin's had $15 billion invested into it. So, what about my crypto? Well, it's actually taken a bit of a pullback. This is IOTA. If you guys remember, I was in at 0.93 cents. It's currently at $3.64. It hit a maximum of $5.55 back here at the peak, and has pulled back. And the reason why it's pulled back is because if you see what I'm trading, this is IOTA versus Bitcoin, and because Bitcoin has moved 25% in the last 24 hours and 70% in the last week, it's caused IOTA to come down a bit, and that's okay. I know that every crypto has its ups and downs, but I do think that IOTA is here to last and to stay around. Why is the cryptocurrency something so investors are so interested in? Because one, it doesn't close on the weekends, right? And so it's constantly open. I mean, IOTA last week went up by 60% or more. I think it was 70% in 24 hours on a Sunday. And that was how the market works. Also, look how much profits you can make. I mean, yes, it's a very volatile market, and some people think that it may not be around to last, or may not be around for a long term because of the nature of cryptocurrency. But I do think that eventually that cryptocurrency could overthrow the banks. It might take a long time, but if Bitcoin continues to increase its value as it is and gets up to 100,000, 200,000, there's no chance that US dollars or euros or pounds or any currency won't drop in value, because there's a much easier way to approach the financial market when it comes to sending and receiving money. And there's no middleman. Why have a bank at that point when I can go directly to the individual and send them to them in a matter of minutes, instead of having to wait 24 hours or 48 hours for a wire to go through? And for example, if you're sending, I know I don't have $1 million, but if you're sending $1 million, the wire fees can be pretty expensive. It depends on where you are in the world, but they can be upwards of $5,000, maybe even $10,000 is what I hear. And if you're sending $1 million to Bitcoin, you're not going to pay more than maybe $20 to $30 to do so, maybe even less, and it's going to be there faster. So the thing is that it just makes so much more sense to cut out the middle person when it comes to a bank, because if you, for example, if I'm going to go to a store and I want to buy a water bottle, right? And I'm going to buy a water bottle with my credit card. And so basically, when I swipe my card, I'm asking the permission from my bank to buy that water bottle, and they can grant me access or they can decline it. You've probably had it before where your card is declined because your bank thinks it's fraud, right? Well, the thing is that you don't have to do that with Bitcoin. where if you want to buy something, you can buy right off the bat, and you don't need permission from a third party to do so. Yes, there's some fears in that, because a bank is there to try to help protect your money by flagging it as fraud. And so there's some things that are going to be need to be integrated to better protect your money when it comes to Bitcoin. There are some things in place now, and there are encryptions, there are wallets that you can deal with, but there is still no physical way to own Bitcoin. You can buy some coins online that have like a code on the back of them, and that's about as good as you can get when it comes to actual physical Bitcoin. But I think that the industry is still evolving, and once as it continues to evolve, it's probably going to increase in value as it's doing right now. So that is my spiel on cryptocurrency and where I think it's going and why. And I think it's going to take some time, but Bitcoin is still in its infancy. I mean, it's still really early to jump in. A lot of analysts are saying that it could go all the way to $2 million, maybe more, for one Bitcoin. And then at that point, who knows if we'll be still using regular US dollars or whatever currency that we're currently using. And who knows if other cryptos will be there as well. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say today. Things are going well with my trading at the moment, and I am still doing well with IOTA, and I'm still planning on holding for that. Hopefully my next video, maybe if I have time on Friday, I'm flying tomorrow, I can talk to you about how to get involved in Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in the best way. Because it's a little bit tricky to know where to go, what wallets to get, how to get involved without getting scammed, and where can you find the best benefits of holding a cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin or something else, and how hard it is it to transfer US dollars into Bitcoin, and where are the best places to do that. So I hope to make that video soon, because I want you guys to expand your portfolio. I want you to get involved in other areas of the market, not just in Forex trading, because there's good things that can come from Forex trading. But as I get older, I'm starting to realize that it's a good idea to educate myself in other areas of the market, especially emerging huge markets like cryptocurrency. Because I see a lot of value in it, especially if you find something like IOTA that was 93 cents back a couple weeks ago and is now increased in value by 400% or close to 400%, and how a $600 or a $500 investment could turn into hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars in a matter of years or even months. It depends on what you're holding. So small investments can turn into something huge, which is exactly what you guys want, right? A lot of you don't have a lot of money to get involved in trading, and why not try to make those gains with something like the cryptocurrency market? Anyway, until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next video, and hope that you have a good rest of the weekend. And well, I guess it's Thursday, so yeah, I'll see you later. Bye.